Hi, today we're going to talk about organic Pinterest strategies for service providers to help you get clients. When I started my business a couple of years ago, more than a couple of years ago, it was about 5 years ago, I started off as a blogger. And I already knew the power of Pinterest. So when I became a virtual assistant and started my business, I continued with Pinterest. But if you're new to Pinterest, don't quite know how it works or how it can help you as a service provider, stay tuned, because really Pinterest in the last 5 years has been my constant, regardless if I'm on vacation or like totally fell off the bandwagon on posting on Facebook, or now I'm just getting into Instagram. Pinterest has always been there sharing my content. And I want to jump in and tell you just how to use it as a service provider and what opportunities Pinterest has brought for me as a service provider. First of all, why Pinterest? There are now over 478 million monthly users. 89% of Pinterest users have made a purchase because of something they saw on Pinterest. 81% of Pinterest users are female. Males and millennials are the fastest growing segments in 2021. The half of the Pinterest users have a lot of purchasing power. It has changed. Many years ago, it started out as and known as the blogger platform, but that has really changed. Now, as I talk to more people, a lot more people are on it that are business owners like you and me, service providers, or as well as digital product creators and course creators. And so it is a place that can bring you a lot of traffic, especially if your demographic is female and they have purchasing power. And also there are a lot of popular Pinterest niches. So I always recommend go to that search bar and type in the search bar, what do you do? And if there are people or if there are results in the feed that show up after you type that, if people are on there, businesses are on there doing what you do, maybe you need to be there too. And the last thing is 85% of Pinterest users are using smartphones. So we need to remember that when creating pins, we want to make them large and really grab people's attention. But really, why do you want to be on Pinterest? One, it can position yourself as an expert, which is extremely important as a service provider. Also, pins last almost forever. And the main reason why I got started using Pinterest is that it's semi-passive. Like I mentioned, it has been my constant over the last 5 years, doing my marketing in the background. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3. And when I started 5 years ago, my kids were younger and I really needed to be involved with homeschooling. And so Pinterest was my savior as far as marketing my business while I was busy during the day homeschooling. So who am I? My name is KARRIE. I am from KarrieMarie.com or Can-Be Digital Inc. is my business. I am a Pinterest and digital marketing strategist. I still blog, but I blog for my business. And as I mentioned, homeschool mom to 3 kids. 1 is now in college and also a wife and cat mom. I have, over the last 5 years, managed a variety of different Pinterest accounts from DIY bloggers, coaches and service providers, product sellers who sell via Shopify, as well as YouTubers, different niches like fitness and like gardening, homesteading, like woo type of things, like just a wide variety of niches too. So how long does your content last? This was another reason why I chose Pinterest. Even though I do love Facebook and YouTube, there's nothing like Pinterest for keeping and repurposing our content, especially as a service provider. Probably like me, you're too busy doing client work and not doing enough to market your business. And so with Facebook, obviously you can put a post up. You're lucky, definitely on your business profile, you're lucky you're getting any reach. If you put it on your personal profile, I would guess maybe you're lucky for 5 hours, but Pinterest lasts, one pin lasts for 4 months, and then you can repurpose your content by creating new pins and sending content to those same blog posts. And then a blog lasts 2 years. So how Pinterest works is basically it's a funnel, and it starts with your pin. You are going to put a URL of a blog post, and your call to action on your blog post is going to be book a call, and hopefully you'll end up with a customer. If you send that same pin to a lead magnet, that lead magnet, first of all, gets a email on your email list, as well as the call to action is to book a call. You're going to end up with a customer, or at least nurture your customer. If you have products that you create, you can sell those to your customers. As you can send pins to social media posts. I will share a little bit about that later. Call to action, book a call, you're going to end up with a customer or client. And if you have case studies, which I highly recommend as a service provider, the call to action, book a call, and you will end up with a customer or client. The pinner mindset. When a pinner uses Pinterest, and you may know this from using Pinterest yourself personally, we are planners. We are approaching Pinterest like Google, where you want to solve a problem, and we tend not to take action right away. We usually save it and return later. And that's okay, because there are statistics that say when you save something first and they saw you first on Pinterest, that pinners return. And it's good to have saves, because then that pin is going to get saved to a board and other people can access that board as well. So first and foremost, Pinterest is a search engine, and you must master Pinterest SEO. We're going to go into in a little while. You need to position your service as the solution to a problem that your audience has. And you need to keyword everything. That's how Pinterest SEO works, similar to Google SEO. And so that is how you are going to be found in search. So the first thing you need to do, you need to find your keywords. You are going to use the search bar at the top, type in what you do and how people can find you. What words would they use? Like virtual assistant, tech VA, Facebook ads manager, Pinterest marketing, whatever it is. Search at the top for the search bar and start writing down keywords that people would use to find you. When you hit enter, and as you scroll down, you're going to see something called related searches. These can put you down a rabbit hole, but they're also very helpful as far as giving you like these it's Pinterest making these different connections. It's like if they searched for virtual assistant, you might be searching for this as well. And so they'll give you different options. And then the third place to find keywords is a tool called Pinterest Trends, which is at trends.pinterest.com. And it works the exact same way, where it has a search bar. It will bring back results down at the bottom with suggested searches as well. These keywords you're going to put in 7 different places. A couple different places, definitely your display name. So this is where you're going to find a lot of different keywords, but you need to use them strategically. So in your display name and your profile description, this is where you want to use the most common keywords that describe what you. If I was looking for a virtual assistant, I could start typing in virtual assistant and your name hopefully would pop up. Also, board names with descriptions. The text overlay on a pin is read by Pinterest, as well as Pinterest titles and Pinterest descriptions. And so you want to plaster these keywords everywhere, so that if a pinner searches for virtual assistant, that will be like plastered everywhere and make that connection so that you are found. The common mistakes, because people will come to me and they're like, oh, Pinterest doesn't work. Chances are they're not using keywords, again, need to be in those 7 different places. Otherwise, you won't be found. Your content won't be found. Also, you're not creating content that positions you as the expert to solve their problem and not building a relationship with your email list. So when we get started online, the very first thing we're taught is start growing your email list and have a lead magnet. So definitely, I agree with that. Create a lead magnet. It doesn't have to be any big, ornate, complicated thing. It's one quick thing that what you do in your business, how that can help. What one quick thing can you help someone solve? And then they're like, wow, if Casey client can help me figure out how to organize my Trello boards, what else can she help me organize? So that type of thing. So my suggestion is create blog posts showing that you are the expert in whatever it is that you do, whether it's an OBM, a tech VA, Facebook ads manager. You can do this by just, sharing what you do, create tutorials, and also what it's like to work with you. So I gave you these as an example. I write a lot about Pinterest. So like how I help my clients dominate Pinterest. It's just like a walkthrough. It's like first we do onboarding, and then this is how I help you. And then you're going to add the call to action. Hey, need help? Book a call. Or how I turn chaos into organization. These are different ways to show my expertise and put that potential client. Imagine if you had inbox zero, or imagine if you could get leads and sales on autopilot using Pinterest, and I can do it for you, that type of thing. So if you're not a blogger, you're like, oh, don't want to, where else can I drive traffic? So I did mention when you create a pin, you are going to determine the URL. So that means you get to determine where you're going to drive traffic. So if you like to do video, let's say you've created YouTube videos, you can send them to YouTube. You can repurpose that YouTube, run it through a transcription service and make it into a blog post. Be sure to include a call to action. I love YouTube, and probably we all use YouTube for some type of tutorial, so that does really well. Again, it could just be you talking about what it's like to work with you. You could do an interview with a happy client. And so these two go together, doing video. You could do it on Facebook, download it, upload it to YouTube, and repurpose your content that way. If you are interested in growing your Instagram, this would be a strategy. It needs to be an intentional strategy. I personally, my Instagram is a combination of personal and business. So when you look at my images, they're not all branded. They don't have the KARRIEMarie.com. I have pictures of coffee and my cat and things like that. And so those are the Instagram squares that I wouldn't want to post to my Pinterest, because chances are, why would someone just click on a pin that's a picture of a coffee mug, for example. And it is okay to pin from Instagram, even though they're square and they're not vertical. That is okay. They're still a decent size. You can do that. So they should be branded, should have a URL, should have some call to action, some text on it, like why would someone want to click on that pin? And I would choose pins that have a good message, where you've spent time creating an intentional message, versus just like a, hey, what's your favorite morning routine type of thing. Like here, 9 reasons to use Pinterest promoted pin. I would include maybe 3 and say, hey, click on my link in bio and continue to read the rest of the blog post. And in the meantime, follow me on Instagram, that type of thing. So it's going to grow your Instagram, as well as you're providing them value with a good intro. So tips for getting started: definitely use pin templates. I love Canva, and I highly recommend using pin templates because it just makes it so much easier and faster. I remember when I first got started blogging, to create a pin took me forever. I wanted each one to be unique, and granted, it was different many years ago. You could just have one pin and keep repinning it. Now you need to create multiple pins because Pinterest doesn't like you to pin and repin the same pin, but all the different pins should have a different look, different image. You can try different titles. And so this is easily done by creating pin templates to help you create those multiple pins. Create a workflow. So I like to add Pinterest into my workflow. Like when I create a blog post, I'm going to create a square image. So that covers LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Then I resize it. I either resize it or I just create a whole bunch of pins from templates. Either one works, but just however works for your workflow, and create multiple pins at one time. And then I schedule them all at one time with a tool called Tailwind. And don't forget to add a call to action. If you are ready to start using Pinterest for your business, you can sign up for my lead magnet, which is called Pinterest for Business, at KARRIEMarie.com/Pinterest for Business Challenge. And there's hyphens in there. And you can get started. If you like videos and are a visual person like I am, I have my course. It's a bit more in depth than the lead magnet. It's called pinningfoundations.com. It's everything you need to know to get started on Pinterest. And if you're like, oh my God, Pinterest sounds great, but I don't want to do it myself, I can help with Pinterest setup, monthly management. I also do Pinterest promoted pins and business intensives. You can visit me at KARRIEMarie.com and then go to the work with me and book a call. If you have any questions, please drop them below, and all the best. I hope you get started with Pinterest. Like I said, for me, it's been something that's been building and keeping my marketing going for the last 5 years. Because of Pinterest, people have found me and approached me for summits. They've approached me as guest experts, like in their Facebook groups, to come and do a training. Obviously, I've woken up to have discovery calls on my calendar. And I'm like, how did they find me? And they're like, oh, I found you on Pinterest. So as a service provider, I highly recommend Pinterest. If you need clients quickly, ASAP, like you need money in the door, Pinterest is a long-term strategy because it is search-based, and you really need to commit at least 6 months to really see momentum start building on Pinterest. So in the short term, I would definitely have another strategy going into Facebook groups, DMing on Instagram, or going into LinkedIn, whichever is your platform of choice. Use that to help you get clients in the short term, and then build this as you go along, and it's going to build momentum. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.